Hi folks, welcome to Once Driven Forever Smitten. We are back on with Le Cav, my black Cavalier GLS, which has been converted to the C20XE, which is in my J-Reg Cavalier that got written off. We have been busy welding a salon there, and I've got my spring seat repaired on this side. Got back brakes to do as well, sealing up to do and stuff. Got an exhaust to do in Omega, I don't know if I'll get time. That is the spring seat from the car, which I cleaned up, and I've put paint on it because I don't want to put that on bare metal because it'll just end up rusting out again. Air cut off tool that I just bought off the electronic bay. Also got a new caliper for the front because this wheel is bindy. I don't think that caliper's that old, but that was a problem on Fab. So I'm gonna drop this down a bit, mark this up where I want the spring seat to go, and then just clean the areas up that I want to weld. So we've got some rust proofing under there that's hopefully going to prevent it doing the same thing again. We're rotting out a skin behind the spring seats. Alright, back on with Le Cav. And we've got this stupid spring seat to do. So I've taken it off and I've welded a bit in there, but I need to go and cut the outer edges off of this just to line it up a bit nicer, because I'll have to make quite an accurate plate to go in there, really. So we'll try and get it reasonable shape with the grinder first. Right, after much grinding and removing the hair, now I set my beard on fire, we now have quite a nice shape. So it's level there, where my finger is level there, so I'm going to weld into that joint, but it's not there, I've still got the edge on it. So I'll be able to go and run the plate in and shove it so it butts up against there, and it'll just come out a little bit edge over the side, and I'll weld it along there, which should work nicely. It'll give us a nice level connection on it. I mean, the good news is that this under bit is rock solid. It's bad news if your internal part of the chassis leg's rotted out. So now I'm going to get a bit of cardboard and try and cut this to shape. I have this handy cereal box. Which I can use the cardboard from to cut a shape. Now we started off, our longest edge is about 145. So if I go about say 150 there, and then it's like 120. So if I just start off with an initial shape, roughly, we'll then start trimming. Ooh, it's like Blue Peter. Fortunately, you can't repair Cavaliers with sticky back plastic, which nobody ever had anyway. Right, after a few series of cuts back and forth, that is my piece of cardboard which fits perfectly into that gap. So now I can go and take this, draw it onto a piece of metal and cut it out, and it should fit exactly into that spot with any luck. Right, after some cutting and grinding, there is my piece of metal, which is a pretty accurate shape. So I can now weld that. I've got it pressed in place at the moment with an extension on the axle just to hold it in place. So yeah, all being well, I should be able to get a few tacks on this so it won't move. Well, unfortunately the welder has broke and need to order like a new torch for it. The little metal clip thing broke that pushes on the trigger, and it's like catching at the end at the shroud anyway. So yeah, but I did get quite a lot done, as you can see here. Pleased with that. There's a couple of bits of weld to fill in. I was nearly finished it when the welder broke, but yeah, that's good. That, well happy with it. That's placed in there nicely. Obviously we've got the spring seat to go back on top of that. That's a good result. I'm going to go and do the back brakes now because They are ancient. I'm hoping that these calipers free off. They probably will, because everyone else is freed off in this car so far. We've got to replace the handbrake cables as well, because they're rusted to hell and they don't really move. They do, they're like sort of jammed up and rusted away in those bits. And the handbrake cable off of Fab's lying about somewhere, which was like new when I put it on, so yeah. Alright, so I've finished welding up that under there, and I've also got the spring seat over here, which I've got all the bad metal off of, so I now need to primer it and paint it because I don't want it rotting out behind it. Way too much, but we don't care. There you go. That should give it some protection. I'll just have to grind the bits down that I'm actually going to weld to, because I don't want to leave bare metal in here. So it can have a wee dusting of black, and I'll leave that till tomorrow. Sound. I'm going to spray the back of the spring seat now. Right, we'll leave that to dry. I've got the spring seat held in place using an extension. What we will do is draw around it using this chalk pen, which is running down my hand. Come on, give me some juice. Right, so now we've got the marks where we know that it's going to be welded in place, so we can just clean those areas up and keep the rust proofing behind it. Right, got that bit cleaned up there, and I've got it cleaned up round here, so that's going to sit in like there in this area, and then we will get a weld run right round that. Right, we're in position, so I can now get some welds on it here so it won't fall off again. Right, pretty pleased with how that's welded. I know that they're spot welded on originally, but you know, I am welding it all the way right round. So yeah, a good penetrative weld right the way around there. That one little bit there where I first started, the welder didn't run right, but I'll grind it down, tidy them up, and get some sealer on them. A bit of seam sealer around the welds, and we'll get some rust proofing on the go as well. Seam sealer, new tub. Nice. We're going to put some of this round the welds on this spring seat. While I'm waiting for the seam sealer and that to dry off in there, I am looking at shock absorbers. Now, Le Cav does have a set of KYBs on the back, which I think are gas. Obviously they're going to be very old, but I've got my Bilstein blacks, which are not old, from Le Cav. Oh, they're much tougher. And also they pop back out again, which that isn't doing, so it's probably had it. So the one problem I did have, because Fab was a bit rusty in here, it was letting water in, and I had to cut the nut off this shock absorber to get it out, but we've run a nut on and off it, and it has gone on and off okay. So that should mean that we'll be able to get just enough threads through this to get it to behave. Oh yeah, it's run down there, no problem at all. Get the mould grips on the top of that. You can see the top of it is actually rotted off, even though these weren't very old. Scotland for you. Yeah, I'll get this tightened up, and that'll be one side with the Bilsteins on. Get the rust proofing done and get the spring in. Right, seam sealer done. Right. Give this whole lot a hit with the old etch primer, and then we will paint it, and then we will possibly lana guard over the top of this, I don't know. We shall see. Right, all coated with some paint for now. I can get the spring back in it because we've got a Bilstein shocker on this side, so get that fired in and then get it on the ground because I need to kick it out the way for a moment. I've run down the sill as well and got my etch primer and seam sealing on that as well. Needs a jet wash out this, it's all French muck. Right, Cavalier's coming down. It's all sorted on one side, suspension and spring seat wise. But I'm just moving it out because I need to do the exhaust on the Omega. Yeah, and I will return to this when I'm back up the road for England next week. How's it? Is it hitting it? How's it hitting that? Was it a petrol? The Omega is getting a bit farty. Pouring and standard and quiet again. Omega exhausts up in there. These are the tailpipes that were fabricated by Neil 2021, which is into the system, which is now rotted out there. So taking the bolts out, it's snapped. All four of the bolts going into there, so I'm going to have to try and drill those out. So we're going to go and take the central rubbers off it, but we're going to have to go and take the clips that are in there off first, so the rubbers can slide. Take them both at once because these are connected. So it should. There, hooray! That's the easier bit out the way. Okay, right. Okay. Drilling time. Just occurred to us to see what noise this will make when it's running only on the cats. quite as good as I thought it would be. Anyway, never know. Well, because all 4 of the exhaust bolts snapped because they're so old, I've just run slots into the side of them. They are threaded, but it doesn't matter because you can just nut and bolt them for the other side. Because that would have taken forever to drill them out, which I'm not doing. Kenzo's moving the recovery truck away up the top. What's he up to? I don't know. Must be moving his milk down or something. Right, well that's worked a treat there. That's got a good tight seal in there from what I can see. One side of the system on, I'm going to do the same to this side now. Got a bit of gun gum round there. Don't have exhaust assembly placed, so that'll do. Yeah, I didn't get new gaskets for this particular bit, so I better give it some paste and make sure that it's going to seal up. Lovely. Here is the other part of the system, which is wrapped extensively with brown tape. That's interesting, like, you know, you've got double 2-inch exhausts, come all the way down into here, all the way out, that. I mean, that can't be the best thing for performance, surely. Anyway, let's get this fired on. Oh, I've done it. Couple of new exhaust rubbers, because you do get a complete set. I'm just going to reuse the GM one that's on this side. There's nothing wrong with that. Keep the other ones for our car. Oh, it's stuck underneath it. Now I've got to suck this. Right. Boom. We are connected. Right, let's get the bolts. Right, that fitment looks not too bad. I think they can go anywhere. I'll come to the back. We'll fire the back box on in a moment. You get these nice clamps with it as well. And of course new rubbers. Nice clamps, I've not had ones like that before. Alright. Problem I've got is these ends aren't even close to fitting in here. These need massively splayed out. I don't know if they've been knocked in transit or what, but they're basically the same size as a pipe to try to attach into the flared ends, so needs massively pulled out to try and get it to fit. Right, so it's fitted. Not gonna lie, like, that was pretty awkward at the end, but we got there. I had to go and flare the ends out because they're all like bashed in. But I mean, that's it on. It's in place now, it's not hitting anything. I mean, it fits okay, it went on nicely, like. So it's nice you get the rubbers. I just drilled the holes down the side there. They're nice and tight on there, that's not going anywhere. So yeah, let's see what it sounds like. Yeah, I'll have to cut those tailpipes back off of there that Neil did. I don't want to throw them out. Lovely bit of fabrication work that, really. But as you can see, these are just wrecked. Right then. Oh, it's so very, very quiet now. Righty ho, let's get out of here. It's so quiet. I'm gonna have to take these seats with me and get rid of them.
You get them with a public truck?
Probably not now, but oh, the standardness. Well, that's sealed up anyway. I've sold Le Cav's original interior for 20 quid to get rid of it, so I'm just going to chuck it in the Omega now as well and get that out of the way, because God knows there's enough stuff on the road. Right, so this is a bit of a hybrid update. Little bit of work done on Le Cav, and then I've got the Omega exhaust system which I fired on it as well. I know it's kind of like, you know, bits and pieces, but it's just what I'm up to, because I've got a Saab update as well, but I don't like putting stuff out on that until I've fixed whatever's wrong with it, and it's still leaking oil, so I'm not sure if you'll have seen that video yet or not. You decided. I'm going to start this Astra. The rigmarole of having to go and manually select park before you can drive it because the selector's knackered. Yeah, I'm going to gear now. Get around to this thing soon. Dig my Corsa airbag wheel low. I don't know why the airbag lights actually came back on though. Oh, Kenzo's having a fire. Yeah, so that's the Omega exhaust done. It's super quiet. How dull? I just messed the screen up. Not my Saab. And of course we do have the recovery truck and the air rides. Nova needing attention. Getting time to do it. I'm away back down the road driving a lorry on next week, so it does not lend itself to being able to spend a lot of time on the cars if I'm away. Need to take some time off, do one thing and another. I'd like to go onto the GSI at some point. More things off the list today. Do you want me to put this right back? The Omega is so quiet now after not having had a back box on it for 2 years. But yeah, that'll do for this one. Bit of an update on Le Cav. Need to get back on with that. I'm driving a DAF XG530 Tag next week, so I won't be at the garage, but when I get back I'm going to do the other spring seat in the Cavalier, get some bits and pieces of paint work done on it, finish off the interior, and hopefully shouldn't be far away from getting an MOT on it. Of course I've done the timing belt in the Omega, just done some oil in it, so it should be good to go. I'm actually thinking about might take it to England with me because the aircon's working in it, and it should all be well sorted now. Yeah, catch you next time. It's so quiet. completely forgotten how refined and luxurious the Omega is. Because I was a bit meh about putting the standard exhaust system back on it. And yeah, it's spot on. There's like no noise out of it at all. It's definitely a fair bit quieter than the Saab. Saab's got more wind noise from the A-pillars. Of course, it's much, much slower than the Saab, right enough. There's no noise off it at all. Wicked. Yet another slow Dacia. Speed we're going to get up to. I went home for my dinner.